If you've been thinking about moving to Tucson, Arizona, more specifically the Tanque Verde Valley in Northeast Tucson, you'll want to stick around. Today we're going to cover the good, the bad, and everything you need to know before making that move to Tanque Verde.
Let's get to it.
Welcome back, or if you're new to this channel and you want to learn everything from A to Z about living in Tucson, AZ, then click subscribe and tap that bell for notifications so you could be the first to learn about the current market in Tucson, Arizona. Hi, I'm Jennifer Smith and this is my husband,
Dustin Smith.
And we've helped hundreds of people just like you move to
and from
Tucson, Arizona. So whether you're moving in 12 days, 12 weeks, 12 months, we've got you covered. Give us a call, shoot us a text or an email, and let us help you make that smooth move to Tucson, Arizona.
All right, if you're not familiar with where Tanque Verde is an unincorporated area northeast of Tucson. It's going to be directly east of the Catalina foothills, and then you actually have the Santa Catalina Mountains to the north and the Rincons off to the east and a little bit to the southeast. So you almost have this wrap around mountain range in the area.
Absolutely, and just really gorgeous, scenic desert area as well. But more than that is just the amount of green trees that you will see throughout this area.
Absolutely. A lot of the ravines on the mountains kind of dump into the washes around the Tanque Verde area. So those washes get running really good when we have a good snowstorm on the mountains or the monsoon season, and everything around there just really grows quite wonderfully. In fact, some of the best mesquite trees in the Tucson area are going to be in the Tanque Verde area.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk home values in the area.
Absolutely. So currently there's 70 homes listed in the Tanque Verde area, and those are going to range in price quite a bit. So the lowest price home currently on the market is listed at $425,000, and topping the market just shy of $3 million is $2.995 million.
Yep. And how many have been sold in the last 6 months?
104 in the last 6 months.
Wow. Yeah, so it has become a very popular area over the last several years with the median sales price even coming up quite drastically. It is currently for 2024, although we don't have the final numbers from all the research I did, the median sales price is $695,000 for the Tanque Verde area. So really rivals the Catalina foothills in, beauty, landscape, and what you get for your money.
Absolutely. All right, so now that you know a little bit about the area, let's talk about the good and the bad and some of the in-between. So starting off with something that's good here, the first thing I want to talk about is mountain views. So if you're driving into the Tanque Verde from any area of Tucson, you're probably going to be in awe over the just gorgeous mountains that are right here. So both the Santa Catalinas and the Rincon Mountains have different climate zones. You can actually watch it turn from a desert landscape into some thick pine trees just sitting at the bottom, how that greenery just changes going up the mountain.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, and in the winter time too, a little bit of snow hits the mountains, which you don't get much snow in Tucson, but it'll stick onto those Rincons and especially into the Santa Catalina Mountains.
Yeah, usually a few times a year we see that, especially kind of from the January to even as late as April timeframe, we will still see snow up on the mountains. And I think for 2024, we actually had some in May and we were shocked.
It carried through for sure.
Yeah.
And this is like one of the areas too that really drew people in when Tucson was really starting to spread out. Big time like ranch communities. So a lot of the properties here are still spread out and kind of give you that old time feel. There's not a lot of tract home developments in the Tanque Verde area at all.
Or new construction. Very, very limited on the new construction. Pretty much everything that has been built is built currently. And you'll notice a lot of properties, like he said, spread out. So you can get properties with lots of acreage. You can get horse property. There's still tract home subdivisions. You're gonna find it lacking in like the condos and townhomes in this area. So not a lot of options on that more affordable side. If you're looking at it, you're really gonna be looking in that 400 and up range in the Tanque Verde area.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, a lot of what's going on for new construction is luxury.
Yes.
So that's what the builders are seeing when they are thinking about doing a project up here, is that they have that luxury market in the area and they're capitalizing on that.
Absolutely. And we actually have a video on our channel of one of the brand new luxury subdivisions, Rancho Soldado. So if that is of interest to you, head over to our channel and check that out.
Absolutely. Beautiful community and great builder in there.
Yep. And then as far as amenities and dining, a lot of people come to this area because you get that feeling like you're kind of out there away from the city without being too far away. So really you can get to any of your shopping and dining within 10 to 20 minutes. And I would say like Safeway off of Tanque Verde is going to be one of the closest options right there. So depending on where you are in the Tanque Verde area, you're going to be to Safeway within 10 to 15 minutes. Definitely lots of options for dining too. We have a few of our favorites in the area. One of the ones, especially if you have like family in town or you have kids, or even, they have a lot of the adult games there too, but Barnyard is one of our favorites to stop in at. They have like the giant Connect Four. They have like the big Jenga. They have outdoor seating.
Lots of outdoor seating and heaters in the winter time too.
Yeah, and just a lot of space to run around. So it's nice because it's not quite so formal. If you want to just kind of sit down and have a drink too, I mean, they have the indoor outdoor bar right there. Overall, it's just really nice. Another one of our favorites right off the Tanque Verde area by the Safeway we were talking about, right across the street actually, is Fortunato's, and it is a locally owned deli, and they just have some of the best sandwiches I've had in Tucson.
We actually tried to go there today, but today being New Year's Day, they had it closed down. Good for them.
Right? Absolutely. And then right down the road a little bit further to the west there, Canyon's Crown. That one is a fun one. We've been in there a few times with some friends.
We had so many friends recommend it to us before we actually made it in there. I tried the Guinness pie, which is normally a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but no regrets, and I would recommend that to you as well.
Yeah, that's like a British style like sports pub. So you can, again, go to the bar, but they definitely have lots of tables if you want to sit down and dine. And they even do some fun like trivia nights and stuff there too. So if you're into that, there's definitely no shortage of dining options like you would think there would be in the Tanque Verde area.
All right, so another pro and one of my favorite advantages of the Tanque Verde area is actually going to be the amount of outdoor recreation that you can do in the area. So we were down in the Tanque Verde area grabbing some footage for this video right now, and we decided let's go film this up on Mount Lemmon. So the main road that comes up to Mount Lemmon actually comes up from the Tanque Verde area. So we're only about 15 minutes up from the Tanque Verde area. We're in the Catalinas right now. We're going up Mount Lemmon. It's absolutely gorgeous right here. There's a lot of cyclists that come here, endless hiking trails.
Yes.
In fact, this area where we're parked right here connects to the Arizona Trail, which is just a massive trail that runs all the way from the Mexican border. I believe it goes up to Utah.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
Well, and a lot of people do like rock climbing here. You can drive up to the top and they have the ski lifts. So when there's snow, you can ski. When there's not snow, you can still do the ski lift, and it's very scenic. You can go to the general store up there. Some of our favorite fudge in all of Tucson is there. They have their restaurant. You can even stay up here now, and there's a lake.
Yeah, a quick fun one that I've always enjoyed doing is Tanque Verde Falls. So
that's a pretty intermediate to maybe not intermediate.
It is steep, but it is short, and there's a lot of waterfalls right there, and it's a good spot to go swimming after monsoons, just not in the middle of a monsoon.
Yeah, definitely watch out for those flash floods that can come through. So if it's raining, up by the mountains, it's probably not a great time to go exploring in the mountains.
And some of Tucson's best 4x4 trails are up in that area as well.
Yep, absolutely. And there's more. I mean, yeah, if you like to hop on your side-by-side, there's a lot of people that head up to Redington because there's a lot of trails in there. Even if you don't have a side-by-side, people have taken their Jeeps in there and gone four-wheeling. I mean, there's just a lot of options all around the Tanque Verde area for the outdoor recreation, like Dustin was saying.
Yep, we're not done with outdoor recreation though, because there are actually a couple of golf communities in the area as well, and Jennifer can tell you all about that.
Yeah, so we have 49ers, which we have a video about the 49ers community and everything it has to offer on our channel as well. So if you're interested in golf communities, head over and check that one out. That one, they just have it all. It's one of my favorite communities in the Tanque Verde area. There's also Sabino Springs, which I went to high school at Sabino right up by there. And I was on the golf team all through high school, and that was our home course, which was a lot of fun, except for the time that I had the bobcat come out and steal my golf ball right off the course in the middle of a tournament.
Yeah, and in a tournament that counts against you.
It does. So definitely a lot of wildlife in the area, right? Which, can be a pro or a con depending on how you look at it. I love the wildlife, except when they steal my golf balls, and not so much the spiders and scorpions, but it is really fun if you get to see like the road runners you'll see all throughout this area. I feel like we see them a lot when we're filming our videos, so we've kind of taken it as like a good luck sign.
Yeah, javelina, deer,
Yeah.
just everything in the area.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're lucky, see a bobcat. I mean, don't go close, obviously, but every once in a while we have gotten to see a bobcat. I still have not seen a mountain lion, but if you're hiking alone, definitely something to be cautious of. And especially in the Mount Lemmon area or any of the surrounding mountains, you will occasionally see bear.
Yeah, there's black bears up here.
Yep.
And about the mountain lions, they always see you first.
Yes.
All right, so wildlife being kind of a pro and a con, depending on what your outlook is on there, I think it's time to really start focusing in on what may be considered some of the downsides of the Tanque Verde area.
Absolutely. So I already briefly touched on this, but one of the bigger cons to the area is just the lack of housing options. So again, like we talked about, you're gonna be very hard pressed to find any like townhome options, condo options. So it really just limits you to that 400 and up range. So as far as affordability, just not as much affordability overall in the Tanque Verde area. The prices have just come up so much over the last couple of years, especially since COVID. We've seen some of them completely double from what was selling in here previously. And at this point, it hasn't really slowed down.
The secret is out.
Absolutely.
We mentioned a lot of the Tanque Verde area is already developed too, and that does also put pressure on home prices.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the areas where I'm just guessing, of course. I mean, this isn't necessarily, an absolute, but I think prices are just going to keep going up in the future, especially as they run out of space to build new homes in here.
Yeah, and with that lack of new construction in here, it limits those options as well. We have a lot of clients that are coming in and getting new construction in other areas around Tucson because the builders are able to offer, a little bit better pricing and buying down the rate, which is helping a lot of people that are getting in and getting loans on properties. So
yeah, I mean, there is a major benefit to the fact that there's not a lot of areas left to develop, and that's just overall less construction. So you have less of those big trucks in the area, less hammers hitting, your next door to you in the morning.
Less nails in your tires.
Less nails in your tires, yeah. So I mean, what you see is mostly what you get, and the way it's going to stay for a long time.
Yeah, and with that, something else to mention along the con side, and honestly, I think this can go either way, and we've seen it. It really just depends on your preferences, but you'll find a lot of the communities in the Tanque Verde area do not have HOAs. Now, why people will see that as a pro is if you have toys, you have RV, boat, trailers, you have projects you like to work on, that old 70 Camaro or something along those lines. You can bring it to your house and not have to worry about the HOA saying, no, you can't do that. As long as you have the space and it's allowed, you don't have to get permission. Where we see that being on the con side of things is there's nobody telling anyone how they have to keep their property. So what maybe, what you would consider as just a nice project car that you're fixing up, somebody else might have 10 project cars in their yard that aren't quite as nice, or a lot of different types of storage systems. So it all depends. Like there's just aesthetically, you'll see a difference as you're driving around through the different neighborhoods, typically with properties that are in an HOA versus outside of an HOA.
I mean, it happens. Some people, if they're not being told to, take care of their weeds or paint their fascia, sometimes it just doesn't happen.
Absolutely. Or if they want to paint their house pink or purple, they are going to do that.
We've definitely seen that.
Or mustard yellow. So yeah, definitely pros and cons with that one, but there's a lot of people that will find that more on the con side of things.
All right, so something to be aware about. It can be a con depending on the homes that you're looking at, but some of these homes that are really appealing, really unique, great pieces of property with bigger trees, actually end up being in floodplains. So that's definitely something that you're going to want to look at on a case-by-case scenario. If you are in a floodplain, that can really skyrocket your insurance rates or cause a headache depending on what you're doing with the property.
Yeah, if there's like a section that you're wanting to build, your whole property may not be in the floodplain and you may not even need flood insurance, but it could run over the corner of the property that you were thinking that you maybe wanted to build a guest house, or a RV storage or something like that on your property, because we see that a lot in this area.
Speaking from client experience.
Absolutely.
So yeah, another con for some people anyways is actually going to be the lack of indoor activities.
Yeah.
So within the Tanque Verde area itself, if it's not happening inside of your home, there's really not a lot of indoor recreation. But if you go step right outside of the Tanque Verde area, you do have a lot of options in Tucson's northeast side
Central.
and east side.
Yeah.
Central, yeah, you have relatively quick access to all of that. So I mean, probably 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from most of the Tanque Verde area is the Galaxy Theaters. Yep. So that's nice luxury recliners, newer movie theater.
Yep. And we're within about 20 minutes of Park Place Mall, which is more like centrally located in Tucson, but attached to that, you can wander and shop at the mall, and then there's restaurant options as well. But attached to that is also Round One. So they have like bowling, arcade, karaoke. I think they even have like pool tables there. So just a lot to do close by, but just not necessarily in the Tanque Verde area.
That place is huge and there is a lot to do there. All right, and the final con, at least for the purposes of this video, is actually going to be the commute time. So Tanque Verde being the furthest northeast area of Tucson, it can take quite a bit of time to get to the other areas of Tucson, especially since there's no real interstate over here.
Yeah.
In order to get over to the interstate, typically it's going to be like 25, 30 minutes.
Or more, depending on traffic. And your main road right here down to I-10, if you're going north-south, is Houghton. And there's sections of that are 1 lane both ways. There's sections that are 2 or 3 lanes. So it really just depends on what time of day you're hitting that main road. And even Tanque Verde, if you're heading, into town, right?
Yeah, they're always doing construction on Houghton too. So
yeah,
you might run into an area where it's just really bottlenecked, slowed down. And they're supposed to widen it a good segment in the near future. So if they ever get to that, that's really going to slow you down until they're done with that. And Tucson road construction is not always fast.
Yeah. And I mean, even getting places like, Davis-Monthan or to downtown Tucson, Phoenix, like stuff like that is just going to take a lot longer from this area because you're just dealing with those surface streets and traffic lights and traffic. All right. So thank you for sticking around with us as we talked about the main pros and cons of living in the Tanque Verde area. Anything that you may need to know before deciding if this is the right area for you, we did try to cover. If we missed something, you have questions, comments, drop them below. We always love to hear from you guys. And if you or anyone you know is thinking about moving to or from Tucson, Arizona, give us a call, shoot us an email or a text, whatever works best for you. We're here to help you make that smooth move to Tucson, Arizona. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and tap that bell for notifications so we can keep you updated on the current market in Tucson, Arizona.
As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.
Bye.